Greetings, folks. Yes, sadly, we're back at the former time of, at the usual time of 6 p.m. But hey, it is what it is. There's not really a great deal we can do about that because IRL likes to intervene, sometimes obnoxiously. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just gonna tone the Oh. The YouTuber in question is called Tokyo Girl Chill. Okay. I'm just gonna forward that particular one to Ray, and he'll be like, "It's like, oh damn, I'm checking this one out later." A little bit to talk about this week. Good evening, Sean. On a lighter note, I checked out High School of the Dead on Blu-ray yesterday. Oh, sweet lord!
I haven't watched that in years.
Pardon my language, but that thing does not give a fuck. But I did hear one particular voice actress that I have not heard in years, and the only two things I've heard prior to her doing this was she was the voice of Chio-chan. Jessica Boone, who was the voice of Chio-chan in Azumanga Daioh. Really great slice of life anime. The only cliche trope stereotype they use in the anime is they're high school girls, and that's it. Other than that, it's just like regular, wholesome slice of life antics. The other one I saw in was Angelic Lair. When I say it's listed when it's a girly anime, because I'm only reading what the description has, a lot of review websites have said, this one specifically for the girls, but guys can get a little something out of it as well. And you hear her as Ray, and some of the things that are coming out of her mouth, I'm like, okay, this is clearly not your regular family-friendly, wholesome kind of thing that Jessica would normally do, and yet she's good at what she does. And if people like Rosario Vampire and High School DxD, oh, good lord, this one will be right up your alley. Ecchi to the extreme.
Oh, that's putting it tamely.
Yes, there are some scenes where even me saying use your own imagination would be ill-advised. So imagine it, Raiden's like, too late, bruh, this is gonna be fun. But I'm going through that thus far, and even though it is in a post-apocalyptic setting with a lot of fan service, there is actually a good story behind it, and the cast bounce off each other brilliantly. Although the guy who seems like a reclusive otaku class nerd, once he starts handling weapons, you see this slightly obsessive psychotic side emerge from him, where he's enjoying
Hirano.
He's enjoying it way too much. But it is enjoyable, and I do like the fact that thus far from what I've seen, there is that nice, wholesome, I say touching moment in a case of, pulling on the heartstrings, where they save the kid after they, giving away spoilers here, where her father is trying to get her safe, but the family open up and stab him in the heart, and then Takashi comes along and saves her, and they're all trying to get her out of this little fenced-in garden, and it's just a sweet moment where, hey, they don't know this girl, but they see all the the zombies around, trying to go after her. And it's just like, well, she's still alive, she's still human, so therefore worth saving. And, there's a sweetness to that. Let's see. Here's something that's not so sweet, and as a result, Madam President is going to be having what's the word that you use where you kind of have a smile of vindication, and Raiden will just be sharpening his fangs and licking his lips. TKO lists Vince McMahon board membership as potential financial risk in new SEC filing. TKO Group Holdings had its first earnings call on Tuesday, after which the newly minted company filed a supplement to its first prospectus that summarized a number of risk factors for the company, one of which is one of the company's most public figures, Vince McMahon. According to the SEC filing, McMahon's board membership could lead to negative publicity and or have other adverse financial and operational impacts. Furthermore, the filing says that McMahon could open the company up to additional scrutiny or otherwise exacerbates the other risks described herein. The filing details the special committee that investigated McMahon last year, as McMahon had been found to be using company funds to make hush money payments to former employees who had been alleging harassment and abuse at the hands of McMahon and former head of talent relations, John Laurinaitis. Oni hates that. The language of the filing indicates the investigation into McMahon was closed, but that further hush money payments were found and reimbursed. The filing also warns the investigation, as well as other further expenses could occur to said investigation, could impose a financial risk to the company. WWE has not lost any business due to the investigation, but the investigation could still change the perceptions of the company's business partners. McMahon left the company for a period after the hush money payments were revealed, but returned to WWE in January of this year to help facilitate the merger between WWE and UFC, which was announced in April, forming TKO Group Holdings. Lady and gentlemen, discuss.
Who wants to go first?
Madam President, you have the floor and you may use whatever means necessary.
All right, I packed my bayonet, my flamethrower with a bayonet attached. Let's fucking go. Because first of all, good job, Vince. You fucking tried to take back your own company only to shoot yourself in your own damn foot. Yay. Because not only this has been announced this week, but also Vince has been selling his stock. I'm like, someone wants to jump the ship before they find out something. Because note is that there's going to be a certain documentary about him, and he has no say in it whatsoever. Can't edit a damn thing. So. Everybody remember that Netflix documentary Surviving R. Kelly? This is going to be that, but worse. This is going to be that, but much worse. Just, Vince, buddy. Oh wait, not buddy. I don't like you. You shot yourself in your own foot. And I'm going to be quoting a show that I've been like adjacent to. I'm not going to figure it out. Let somebody else figure that. But your precious firewall that you put up for yourself is being dismantled one brick at a time. Because not only did you throw John Laurinaitis under the bus because you wanted to make yourself look better. No, you still laughed, but you came back because, I was given bad advice. Sure, Jan. And then you forced your daughter out, who was another tiny brick in the wall, because you thought she betrayed you. No, dumbass, she was the one thing protecting your sorry ass. And now you don't have creative anymore, so what's your point for existing? Oh, right, making deals, which, again, there's only one deal you have to make left, and that's for the rights of Raw. And oh, that's getting very close to being over, and you getting either shown the door or wait until that year-long board membership runs out. That's right. He's only going to be on the board for a year, and at TikTok, it's almost over. Almost. So, congratulations, Vince. You played yourself. Good day.
Should I get the popcorn?
Yes. Yes, you should.
Raiden.
You know.
You're already dead. I
You know, I don't usually pray for anyone's downfall, but you know, there's a couple people involved that's like real issues in my race, but oh, how long I've wanted to pray on this man's downfall, for actually knowing the truth on he is just an evil human being. And I find it funny because last night UFC 295 was on, and it had the nerve to play another failed rocker in Kid Rock, playing American Badass with him, Dana, Vince, and MJ might get a kick out of this. Troy. So if that doesn't tell me that this is the mega powers of just really shitty people, I don't know what is. And I've been seeing pictures lately of the man having a cane after going through surgery. Since it is Twitch, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to get us canceled. Well, your time's almost done, old man. Your time's almost done. Some people will mourn you, but for the grand consensus, they'll be glad you no longer exist. I'm done.
Sir Stephen.
Nothing I can say, as pretty much not too familiar with WWE, but there is nothing that I can say that has already been said. You reap what you sow, Vince. Good luck with that.
One more thing.
Oh.
Vince, you ain't seeing heaven. Simple as that.
No.
Okay. Move on to something a little bit more wholesome and a little bit lighthearted. Netflix Sonic Prime series gets a Season 3 preview. New Sonic Prime episodes are coming in 2024 with an early shared look this week. Netflix's Sonic the Hedgehog show Sonic Prime is about to head into its third and final season early next year, so probably January, February at the very earliest. And this week during the all Geeked Weeked reveals, if it was a weekend, couldn't they say Geekend? Just saying. Netflix gave Sonic fans an early look at Season 3. It shows Sonic and his sometimes friend Shadow the Hedgehog facing off against Chaos Sonic, the Sonic Prime version of Metal Sonic from past Sonic the Hedgehog projects. The next season of episodes itself is scheduled to release, January 11, 2024. With more teasers like this one expected to be shared between now and then. For those who haven't been keeping up with Sonic Prime or are now just seeing part of it for the first time, it deals with a multiverse setup, which explains why Sonic and Shadow are fighting against Nine, the alternate version of Sonic's buddy Tails, as well as a new take on Metal Sonic. For those in the UK, Metallix, which personally sounds better. The Sonic Prime clip above was shared by Netflix this week, and it gives us a slightly longer look at the series than you'd typically get from the 30-second spots we sometimes get for shows like this. After failing to appeal to Nine, I wonder if that's a play on Nine Tails from Pokemon. Sonic and Shadow, Sonic and Shadow end up fighting what's apparently another version of Chaos Sonic. Sonic and company fought Chaos Sonic previously in a Season 2 episode set in New York City and destroyed it, or so they thought. Oni would not like the puns. Sonic and Shadow were previously aligned with Nine in efforts to obtain all the Prism Shards, but it was revealed during the big Season 2 finale that Nine's plans were actually different from Sonic and Shadow's. With the power of the Paradox Prism under his control, Nine turns the Shatterverse upside down. A preview of the new season reads, however, the Prism power is unstable as its wielder and requires energy trapped inside of Sonic to stabilize. Extracting said energy, however, means that Sonic himself may shatter. As the final battle for the fate of the Shatterverse and Green Hill begin, it's always Green Hill. Sonic will be forced to make the ultimate sacrifice to save his friends and enemies alike. Sonic Prime Season 3 heads to Netflix on January 11. Netflix reaffirmed during the Geeked Week event. More Sonic the Hedgehog on Netflix. And until January 11, Sonic the Hedgehog fans have plenty of other options seeing more of the blue blur. Netflix has other shows like Sonic Boom, ugh, Sonic X, ugh, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, yay! Outside the shows themselves, Netflix has also a game based on the Sonic Prime show. If you haven't played it already, it's called Sonic Prime Dash, and it's an auto runner that should feel pretty familiar to those Sonic games previously played before. Well, because it's a family-rated show, we know Sonic is not going to bite the dust. That's just not going to happen. It's not like All-Star Superman, where Superman dies at the end of it because of absorbing too much radiation from the sun. It's not going to play out like that. There may be a series of sequences that may look as though Sonic is just about to hold it together, but it's Sonic. He's always going to come out on top. That's just, set in stone, rubber stamp, it's all done. It's also another way of saying this. If it's an episode of AEW or TNA, Oni is likely to hate it. And it is so. Yes, it is so. Madame Kitsune, we are going to board the Enterprise, and I'm going to the planet Jim Cornette to ruin it. Wait, a planet, a whole of Jim Cornette? Oh, good lord.
That's a planet that needs to be eradicated immediately.
Shall I get the Death Star?
No.
Yes,
no.
sir.
No. We need the Space Colony Arc.
Oh, God, no.
Well, that's basically the Death Star, but just slightly different.
Okay.
Well, it's not like Disney are doing anything with Star Wars.
No, they Death Starred their own creativity. Yeah, I went there. Steve, thoughts on what may or may be the setup for Season 3?
Interesting. I mean, I've only ever caught small snippets of the Sonic Prime episodes. I just find it hard to kind of maintain interest due to the awkward format that it's going for. Then again, that might just be me.
The only things I would say, I like the idea of essentially dimension hopping between different worlds where it's the characters that you know, but they're not. And it's essentially just adding some variety. The only thing I would say constructively, and this is not the voice actor's fault who's voicing Sonic, he's actually good. He's actually...
I mean Zeno?
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of that very slick, quick-paced vocalization that Jaleel White had, which I suppose is maybe what they may be going for. I don't know. But there are times, and this is just me saying it like it is, he makes Sonic sound whiny at times, especially when he's like pleading with Nine and what have you. It's just like, Uh, but that's not his fault. That's just like the vocal direction he's given. And Brian Drummond as Robotnik, I was not expecting that to work so well. That's like, he's been Vegeta, he's been Eddie Brock and Venom, for those that remember Spider-Man Unlimited from '99. Highly underrated series, I might add.
Very.
Also, I like the idea of that show where he essentially has nanobots making his suit. The only thing I would have done away with that is get rid of the cape. Since when has Spidey ever needed a cape? It just doesn't work. I mean, except for like some comic artists where if he opens his arms out, there's a portion of his suit that will act like a... like those sort of air gliders that jump off mountains and go essentially wind sailing through the air. That kind of thing. Or
So kind of like the Spider-Man 2 game.
And also
web wings.
And also what Robert Pattinson's Batman did when he jumped off the top of the building of Gotham PD. So that when it's like stuff like that, it's like, yeah, that's fine, but it's just like Spidey doesn't need a cape. And also Rina Romano, he does better as Batman, but as Spidey he does all right. And also as Green Goblin as well, which I was very surprised by. But yeah, those are the only like major critique points I would give the series. It's when they were amping this series up, I was like, oh, like go to like different universes. Like, so he's going to jump between Adventures of Satam Underground. Nope, it's completely different original Shattered universes. And somebody in the comments section on YouTube said that Archie's owns the rights to the Freedom Fighters. No, Sega do. Archie's licensed them, but Sega owns the rights to them. Because if you go into the US Copyright Archive, and this is something that I'm not making this up, this is the username's handle, Lance Jerk of. Yes, I'm not making this up. Hey, he chose it, not me. He actually showed in detail from screen caps that the Freedom Fighters of SatAM and Archie's belong to Sega. So Antoine, Rotor, Bunny, and everybody's best girl, Sally, Sega owns them. So, people can stop saying Archie's own them. No, they don't. So that's it. Done, dusted. The only thing I would say, not that Netflix and Sega will ever do this, but seriously, put this out on Blu-ray. Because, again, as I read out that article last week, Blu-ray superior quality. Just saying. Raiden, thoughts on where this season's going?
Honestly, I haven't really checked out the show, but after hearing it's going to be the final season, I might give it a little visit. I have been enjoying a lot of latest Sonic ever since the first two live action movies, so I'll definitely give this one a shot. So, from hearing about the plot, it sounds pretty cool. So, I'm also hearing good reviews about Zeno Robinson as Sonic.
Yeah.
So, I always give respect to him because of a person of color doing voice acting, not only just in cartoons but in anime as well. So, I'll definitely give it a watch later on.
It's funny. Jalil's. I might have said this before. There's an extra feature on the SatAM DVDs from back in the day where they have an interview with Jalil, and he said, with his portrayal of Sonic, you don't ever really get a feeling of, is he black, is he white? He's just hero. He can be anyone. And I'm like, perfect.
Kind of like how anyone can wear the mask.
Exactly.
Says I don't have that damn argument. Like, Miles Morales is Miles Morales is also Spider-Man, you dummies. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're not I know we're not having this convo in 2023 when Miles debuted in 2011. Like, come on, let it go.
You can make the same argument for Miguel O'Hara.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah.
Or Hobie Brown, or Gwen Stacy, or Doc Ock.
Yeah, we try not to. We try.
Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, we don't try to talk about that one. And also,
Honestly, from what I've heard, Superior Spider-Man wasn't too bad. Really, I really liked it. I really liked the suit. The suit was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
the one I would like to see get re-added, Mayday Parker.
I mean,
Yes.
luckily she's in the, Across the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
And thanks to the strike, Beyond the Spider-Verse is getting redone with voice work.
Not to mention, next year we've got a new Ultimate line of comic books, including Married Spider-Man with Kids.
I check that out. I might check that out if comic writers don't fuck that up.
Oh, but they will.
It's Marvel.
Unfortunately.
What else do you expect?
Although
Although
it is,
great. Although it is
sorry
written
for
by
going
the
on a
original-
long tangent, though.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
The only thing I will say with regards to Spider-Man with Kids, can it please be with Gwen and not Mary Jane? Nothing against the character specifically, it's just Gwen's a better fit for him.
And she has gotten more popular lately, thanks to Spider-Verse, her being Ghost Spider. I'm like, this is good. This has been a really great resurgence for her.
And also the fact that in Amazing Spider-Man, she was played by a more than decent actress.
Yeah.
Because Emma Stone, I will take her portrayal of Gwen Stacy over Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane Watson any day of the week. As I've said before, first movie, didn't mind her. Second movie, getting on my nerves. I'm like, third movie, oh good lord, when are you leaving?
Yeah.
His third movie, she was insufferable.
Yeah. Sucks. An Amazing Spider-Man. We couldn't get Shailene Woodley as MJ. That would have been cool.
It would have been interesting because, from what I understand, Shailene Woodley is a better actress.
Sadly,
especially in those Divergent series, I think.
Sadly, things keep getting in the way, and CEOs keep pushing their way into movies.
Yeah, they should understand. Look at the facts and figures. Keep your nose out of creative, like a certain other CEO member that's got a lot to deal with. Moving on.
Yeah.
Lids, your thoughts on the season 3 direction for Prime?
I haven't gotten a chance to watch Sonic Prime because, again, I don't have Netflix and I'm not paying for it. Thank you very much.
Fair enough.
But as far as the show goes, I've heard good things about it. In fact, Oni actually happens to be personal friends with the voice actor who voices Sonic. So
I did not know that. Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
like neither did I. I'm like, holy crap, because apparently I think he did some voice work with the guy, so that's why he knows him.
Ah.
Well,
Yeah, before like he became a big regular voice actor. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's neat.
So, so that's all I can really say about it. The concept's good, just like again, I'm not sure if I'm burnt out on multiverse stuff or just like I want to see someone do it better. So it's just I don't know. Like if you do it right, great. If not, you're just gonna have a big jumbled mess. Sorry, I must have had something caught in my throat. But again, all in all, we'll see what happens. So.
Sean's just said There's just a certain smeghead Sega has to deal with at the moment when it comes to the Freedom Fighters. Yeah, and
Yes, I
and-
was going to mention that, but we've already done that tangent several times before.
and to quote the Raiden, and you annoyed the adorable one. You goofed.
Yeah.
Yeah. With regards to Wen, play nice. She's nice to you. Find ways to irritate her. When she gets mad, you won't be able to tell the difference between her and the OVA Lena inverse.
Damn it, you beat me to it.
She goes to places. Oh dear. Okay. I'm probably going to get a lot of groans from this. Not from me specifically, but because of the familiarity some of you have with this particular network.
Oh boy. Oh no! Kill it with fire! No!
WWE
I got the thing.
WWE confirms the CW as NXT's new home in 2024. Right, October next year, in fact. Earlier today, a report indicated that WWE has found a new home for NXT, and now WWE has confirmed that is indeed the case. It announced that starting in October of 2204, we're not 200 years into the future just yet. We haven't gone flying cars, we don't have an Enterprise, and we don't have a space captain that looks suspiciously like a reincarnated version of Patrick Stewart. Just saying.
And we don't have a Mars colony yet.
But can we have extraterrestrial beings that look suspiciously like favorite female anime characters? Just saying, no particular reason. And then Liz is looking at me suspiciously. I'm on to you, mister. I'm on to you. And it will be the first time in NXT's 13-year history, wow, that the show will be on air on broadcast television. Yeah, because it did actually go to 2010, where it was essentially like WWE's version of American X Factor or American Idol. You know, it was like reality contest, but then it became like the third brand. But that's mostly down to Triple H's retooling of it, which, let's be honest, you know, we have a lot of things to say about Hunter, but retooling.
I do.
Yes, yes, I was leaning towards that. But what he did for NXT was the best thing he's ever done for the brand. And then Vince came along. I need to remake this in my image. Wow, and I thought Tony Stark was a narcissist. The CW era of NXT will start next year, and this is the latest in a growing roster of live sports on the CW, which already includes ACC football and basketball games every Saturday. NXT will air on US network television as normal until October of next year. In addition to ACC football and basketball, the CW is also home to LIV golf. Oh, I'll only be able to watch that. Golf is not a sport. And a
Tell it to many people.
And then a anger-ridden Prez just rises up below the floor with bloodshot, red glowing eyes. Oni, we need to have a conversation. NASCAR is also a sport. No, it is not. Yes, it is. Hey, Oni, what? Hulk Hogan still has one of the longest reigns in the last 40 years.
Give Roman Reigns a few years. He'll get there, or a few months.
The only difference
He'll get
is
there.
the only difference is Hogan actually defended his belt more than Reigns. But for context, Reigns, we actually know now that Reigns is actually absent most of the time due to complications with his medication.
Oh, okay.
But statistically, if we're going on statistics alone, Hogan had the superior reign because of more title defenses. Because
Yeah, also
And
his
variety
matches
of
didn't
opponents.
end the same fucking way over and over again. That's right, I said it.
yeah,
Repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
and the network also revealed that the Emmy Award-winning Inside the NFL will be part of the lineup. The CW will also broadcast the NASCAR Xfinity series. Oh, there'll be even more good stuff for Oni to watch. He's listening like, I'm going to kill you later. I'm going to kill you. Yeah, but guess what, Oni? TNA's coming back in January. The CW will be home to more than 500 hours of sports programming all year long, and that now includes NXT. We are thrilled to welcome the WWE brand into the CW Sports portfolio as they play an integral role in our mission to bring live sporting events to the network year-round, said President Dennis Miller. The CW NXT is a perfect fit for the CW thanks to its dynamic young talent featuring the hottest rising stars in the sport and exhilarating, unpredictable weekly events. The passion and engagement of WWE's fan base is unmatched. I'd argue AEW's is on par as well, but it varies week to week from what I've heard. And we're eager to grow that audience as NXT's new home on broadcast television. The CW has made impressive moves over the past year with its live sports programming schedule, said Nick Khan, WWE president. It's a truly exciting opportunity to expand NXT's audience by bringing the show to broadcast television for the first time in NXT's history. NXT's on USA Network. That's not broadcast TV?
I think that's cable TV.
Beg your pardon. Beg your pardon. I have a theory, and this is purely a theory. What if NXT's going to CW simply because it wasn't really getting the ratings it was looking for on USA? Because I did hear it kind of when, it's like a tennis match between them and AEW, but, because AEW's on USA as well, ain't it? I think.
No, AEW's on TBS.
It's on Wednesdays.
And TNT.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, that's just the theory, is that it's gone to CW because it wasn't getting what it looked for, and from what I understand, CW ain't doing that great, judging by Raiden's and Lid's response earlier, where I'm having a hard time telling the difference between whether that was Raiden or Shin.
No.
Oh, don't worry, my young student. All will be like, you shut up. You're not supposed to come out yet. Shall we tell Oni later that Hogan's rated superior? No, not yet. No. Oh no, Raiden's starting to turn into Megatron.
Could be worse.
How worse?
Bella twins.
No.
No. I remember hearing his blood-fueled rage. I was like, clip on his Twitch. He lost it.
Yeah.
I've heard Oni lose it before. Like, a couple of examples. When it was when I announced during one review of SmackDown, I think it was 2012, 2013. Michael Cole. No, it was actually Josh Matthews proclaimed that the Great Khali should be a Hall of Famer, and Oni's like, wait, Josh said what? He goes, I repeat, he said he should have been in the Hall of Fame. Like, excuse me, thank you, excuse me. And then off mic, damn!
Okay, but let's be clear. I've had those issues where I've kind of lost my cool, specifically twice, not in the same year. It was during the 2022 Royal Rumble where one of my picks was Charlotte fucking Flair. Not my fault because I didn't know when she was coming out. I just had her number. And it was number 17, so my cool there. Then in 2023, during the Men's Rumble, my number was Dominic Mysterio. So no fucking thank you.
Dirty Dom.
All of my hate.
It's funny how um, he's whether he was inspired by the heat Vicky Guerrero got, or she taught him specifically. I don't know, but I was watching this moment on Raw is absolutely legendary in late 2010, where Jerry Lawler and Cena are taking it in turns to take barb shots at Vicky Guerrero. So anytime Vicky was trying to speak, the crowd were giving her X-Pac nuclear heat.
But let's be clear on something. I don't hate the person. I just kayfabe hate the character. I have no problems with Dominic Mysterio in real life, but kayfabe, I hate his guts more than anything, especially since he gets to be around mommy. I will say that. That was all I fucking say. But real life wise, perfectly nice guy. Don't have any problems with him.
I'm glad you brought
He's
up.
living the dream, so.
I'm glad you brought up Rhea Ripley, because the YouTuber that's known as Attitude Forever, who uploads like all these iconic moments from the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression era. They showed like all the clips from around 98 to 2002 of when the men sometimes would attack the women, and is saying Rhea Ripley wouldn't survive the Attitude Era, especially some of the stuff that happened to China, the two-man power trip and Steph going after Lita, and I think even Trish got choke slammed at one point by maybe Big Show or Kane. I'm not entirely sure. And let's not forget that that moment at Vengeance 2001, where it's the Dudley Boys versus Kane and Big Show, and the Big Show decided to leave his handprint on Stacy that would not be considered okay today. But for context, back then that was socially acceptable for creative, whereas now it's like, oh no, you can't do that. I mean, in a similar vein, when involving Stacy Keibler again, the tag title match at WrestleMania 18 with the Dudleys, the Hardys, APA, Billy, and Chuck. Stacy's, being flirtatious on the ring ropes. Jeff goes to slap her. Raiden and Lids probably know where I'm referring. And then decides to lock lips with her, and she falls off the ring apron.
Okay.
Well, for context, at the time, Stacy was heel, so you don't necessarily feel too bad because, well, heel characters more often than not get their just desserts. But I think even today, they would probably find a way of being like, can we have that just as a woman doing that to a woman? Because at least that way we're not going to get heat from it. But we have seen on occasion where, the men do get physical with the women, because I think even AJ Styles took his frustrations out on a female superstar, and apparently everyone said nope. Story-wise, it should be okay because, well, she essentially, kept aggravating, an animal, because it's like a bear with a sore head. Keep poking it, eventually he's going to claw you. Kind of like Oni, if you keep bringing up the Bellatron. Yeah. For context, folks, this is back in 2015 when Nikki was closing in on, at the time, the record-breaking reign of AJ Lee for 195 days as Divas champion, and they actually put a Bellatron up on the Titantron on Monday Night Raw, and it would infuriate Oni. But it's Nikki Bella, so that kind of comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gone off on a long tangent as per norm, but that's kind of the thing with SKL. So, Raiden, thoughts on NXT going to the CW, or you just look at this, figured this is a train wreck on arrival?
Oh, let's see. The Arrowverse is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Riverdale is dead.
Yay.
Okay.
And then you have NXT, which I've seen highlights. The wrestling is good, but like character dialogue is cringe, and sometimes I just don't like. It's very apropos for CW for trying to turn their network that used to be, the merging of UPN and WB as Black Sitcom 2.0, but sadly, that trend has been slowly dying down thanks to executives. So I guess they want to go back to CW since way back then SmackDown was on there one time, and you got to keep prodding the teen demographic with old properties like DC when they did Arrow,
Mm.
teen demographic, Stephen Amell, Oliver Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Take off his shirt. There's that. So, So, I don't know. It's very apropos, and I find it real funny that NWA was supposed to have this, but thanks to some drug-related stuff, that kind of a dead in the water. So NXT going for CW is very apropos. Gotta get the teen demographic for for girls and boys. So, the whole thing for me is funny. So that's all it is.
Madam President.
I mean, what Raiden said was true. Like with all the stuff that's like the CW has been losing lately, not because of fault of anybody else except the studios. Because the Arrowverse is pretty much done. So it's fine. I'm not losing any sleep over it. Same with Riverdale. It's like, yay, that train wreck is over. Yay. But as in regards to NXT going to the CW, I think it's a decent fit. I mean, it will probably get more eyes on it than it will on network television. I mean, on cable television, excuse me. It probably will get more eyes or it's just gonna linger there until they close the show and close the brand and then split people off where they want to go, or make NXT turn it back to just a developmental brand, but I don't see that happening. But I will say one thing. Billy Corgan, you fucked up, buddy. Come on. There's no love lost between me and Billy Corgan. Your music was fine back in the day, but now you're just a joke. And now you're even an even bigger joke. But I will say this. It's like, at least they're willing to make deals, unlike Tony Khan, who's saying he's going to ride out his contract on TV. I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, no disrespect to anybody who likes AEW, but Tony, buddy, stop! Either you're freaking running your mouth on Twitter or you're doing stupid business decisions. Make up your mind whether you want to be Vince or not. Just, dude. And, okay, and I'll also say one thing. When it comes to women like Rhea Ripley, yeah, they can and will stand up to the man. She has taken bumps along the way, so, and there are other women who could probably match her in that kind of strength and power, so let's not disrespect them by saying that they couldn't stand up to the stuff that they did in the Attitude Era, because they probably could, because the women in some, aside from women like Trish, Lita, and some of that, there were like a handful of women that could have taken that kind of abuse. Other women, no, because we don't see someone like Deborah taking a freaking pot shot from someone, and I know I'm gonna get some flack for that. So it's like that. I'm talking about kayfabe wise, not in real life. No, not what I'm talking about.
No, we don't need to go there.
But yeah, all in all, like, there are strong women who can actually butt heads with the men, And at the top of that list is, of course, Rhea Ripley. So I'll give it that. I will be interested if she decides to, like, again, take some swings at a couple of the boys and actually get a receipt back. But we'll see what happens. But all in all, when it comes to the AEW, the NXT deal with the CW, okay, fine, cool. But it's just gonna be on basic cable. Cool. All right. Move along.
You make a good point with regards to physicality, but I think, and I'm saying this also from the perspective of just how society, TV, and wrestling is today, they probably wouldn't have too many of the female athletes take the type of physical punishment. Granted, it's all scripted and what have you, but some of the stuff they put Lita through, and even the stuff that the Dudleys did with Mae Young. I mean, at the time, this was a woman in her late 60s, early 70s, and she's being powerbombed through tables, and I'm like, okay, you gotta be in tremendous shape, 3 times less the age, let alone be in your advanced years and take bumps like that. But fair play to her. She was always game for it. And I was particularly surprised, slightly related note, and I'm only going to be talking about the performance of this departed wrestler, because we know the personal stuff, we're not going to get into it again. But the fact that even in her late 60s, Fabulous Moolah was women's champion again for one more time when she took it off of Ivory before subsequently losing it back to Ivory. But it just showed someone in their advanced years could still convincingly defeat somebody who was much younger than them. I mean, who's to say not that we're likely to see Trish Stratus come back again when she's, say, 67 and trying to hit the Stratusfaction Bulldog again. I'm not suggesting we're going to see that. But given how well Trish has maintained her fitness and her stamina, because from what little I did see over the summer, Trish could still go. And then some. And according to Oni, she was acting like a masochist during the Money in the Bank pay-per-view in July. I mean, there's actually quite a few things Trish has yet to win to cap off, her already amazing career. She's yet to win the tag titles. She has yet to win the Women's Royal Rumble, and she has yet to become Ms. Money in the Bank. But you could also make the argument, does she need those? Really?
No.
I mean, Lita coming back and having her very brief reign as a tag team champion, considering the amount of time she got worked over with stinted championship reigns or cheated out of titles, it's like, all right, it's not the women's title, but it's a title, and it's just like, she was owed this, in my personal opinion. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Lita, particularly during the Ruthless Aggression era when she aligned herself with Edge, but IRL kind of gave them no choice but to do that. And to be fair, as a heel, especially the verbal abuse and barbs that she took from Cena, is like, today that would not get heard. Some of the things he would spew out, particularly Raider might know which one I'm talking about here. It's Monday Night Raw in the third quarter of 2005. It's Carlitos Cabana with Carlito, Shawn Michaels, Big Show, and Edge. Cena comes out. Oh, God. The stuff that he says about Edge, Lita. Shawn and Big Show took it in, a little bit more gracefully. It's like, Shawn Michaels, one of the greatest of all time. I'm scouting you heavy because there's no one better, but you're looking too friendly with whips, chains, and chaps. And then just Shawn just like gives like a, bounce of the eyebrows, like kind of like leading him, off the scent. And like, Big Show's a giant. He's enormous. But it's just another one of those things where big things come with small packages. And he just laughs, like just waves. I was like, fuck off. My brother saw that for the first time. It's like, oh my gosh, Cena's actually funny. I would argue he was never funny. Yes, of course you would. When he went to Super Cena, it's like, yeah, then it was cringe. Like the whole John Cena Walker promo after the night after Johnny Ace got fired. That was lame. But it was early 2010s, and as Raiden can attest, those were dark days. The fact he's being silent would suggest that is so.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Steve, presumably you're going to call Mulligan on the CW NXT deal?
Correct.
Very well. Yeah. Really got to work on not doing so many tangents. Easier said than done, though, especially with some stuff like if it comes up with Wacky Macky, it's just like, it's difficult to do. Speaking of tangents.
Oh, okay. Oh no.
Damn, and I thought Win could do creepy laughs. Proves me wrong. Ain't can be creepy. Yes, we know. That's why we tell you to put a lid on it. The Marvel's record MCU low opening weekend box office numbers are in. The Marvels did not fly higher, further, faster at the box office in its opening weekend, but lower than any MCU picture. The Captain Marvel sequel will earn $47 million over its first 3 days, starting with $20.13 million on Friday. That means the Marvels will come in under the previous low bar set by the Incredible Hulk's $55.4 million opening weekend back in 2008. Folks, for context, the Incredible Hulk is severely underrated. It has its flaws, I won't argue that point, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. When the MCU was still in its infancy, like most of Marvel Studios' post-Avengers Endgame's efforts, the Marvels earned a B cinema score and mixed reviews from critics. Comicbook.com's Jenna Anderson praised the movie in her review, awarding it 4.5 stars. The world outside our window, both in the MCU and beyond, has changed a lot since Captain Marvel first soared into theaters and grossed over $1 billion in 2019, to mostly empty theaters, I might add. While things still aren't perfectly balanced, female-led superhero adaptations have become an ever-growing fixture of their respective franchises, as opposed to a bone thrown to the viewers every once in a while. Like Carol Danvers herself, and hopefully like many of the movie's viewers, the Marvel seems to understand on an unspoken level that it doesn't have to carry the weight of the world alone. It doesn't have to redefine the entire genre or represent all of womanhood in less than 2 hours or be a perfect segue into the next male-dominated event movie. The movie can just be in all of the high-octane, silly, sweet, and imperfect glory that entails. The fact we've reached that point, and that the MCU still has the ability to effectively tell a story, is a marvel in of itself. The puns. The Marvels is playing in theaters now. The full list of the top 10 films at the box office weekend include The Marvels, Five Nights at Freddy's, Week 3, still hanging in there, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, Fifth Weekend, Priscilla, Week 3, Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm not entirely sure what that one's about.
The Martin Scorsese film.
I might give it a look because I know there's a little bit of a negative stigma around DiCaprio these days, but at the end of the day, the actor is a tried and tested professional when it comes to his craft. I mean, if you look at The Aviator, superb movie. The Holdovers, not quite sure what that one's about either.
I don't even know what that is.
Journey to Bethlehem. Okay.
Also, don't know what that is.
It's another take on the Nativity.
That makes sense.
It says here, classic Christmas melodies and modern pop songs tell the story of a young woman with an unimaginable responsibility, a young man torn between love and honor, and a jealous king. Okay, modern pop songs telling the story of the Nativity.
God, who
No.
directed it? Baz Luhrmann.
So Adam Anders directs it. Okay.
Again, with
I
the
know not
concept,
this
I feel it
name.
was a bad.
Mm,
Me neither.
Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie. We don't need to talk about that because that's not really our demographic.
Mm-mm.
Radical.
Yeah. I
And
have no idea what that is.
and the Exorcist Believer. Yeah, I'm not going to be touching that with a 10-foot flagpole.
Yeah, I'd
I
rather
don't
stick to
believe
the
it,
original.
mate.
Thank you.
I
I'd
don't
ra-
believe it's made much of an impact.
Nope. It was just bad.
Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, Disney. Is this not big enough justification to say that you have a problem, you need to fix this? Because
Sadly, but sorry.
because one could make the argument that Endgame should have been it. You know, you don't go any further from that, and then you just hit the reset and let a new generation, take over and tell their own stories. Maybe start with Spidey, have Captain America come in, then Hulk, maybe Spider-Man, tell a good origin story of Carol Danvers and She-Hulk, because I appreciate there are some that like the Tatiana Maslany version of She-Hulk, but it's not the actress that's the problem. It's the material they feed her. And I think it was Linda Fiorentino actually said, let me do the role of She-Hulk, because and these are her words from an interview years ago. I'd love to play a comedic, fourth wall breaking, muscular, lusty She-Hulk. Her words. I'm not, take it up with her. Because I remember her, because she was in the first Men in Black movie. Because she was the one that ended up being Kay's partner at the end of it.
Jay. It was Jay.
Beg your pardon.
She was L, yeah.
Beg your pardon. And I remember very vividly, she was actually, a good performer. Whether she could be comedic.
So popular that she was in the Men in Black animated series. Not the actress
Yes.
herself, but her L.
The character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's be fair. I've not seen Captain Marvel, although from what people have said, it's awful.
It was
For me, it was just mid.
It was just trying to bridge the gap in between Infinity War and Endgame.
And I'm probably going to say something that's not necessarily controversial, but something that is logically and tactfully objective. The problem with what the MCU is doing with the characters, it's not that you're trying to make a female-led movie. No. It's the material that you write for them. Because I think what some forget, and I mean, we were very vocal about this, particularly going back to the first season of SKL, where
yes.
we talked
no.
where we talked about the condescending marketing campaign that they had for Feegbusters. Like, here's this idea that I think most people can universally agree with. If you want to empower women, just empower women. You don't do it by trashing men for no justifiable reason. If you're writing for a character where the male antagonist is a complete scumbag, and you have your female protagonist bring him down and call him all the names under the sun, do that based on the way the character is written. Don't have your men treated as idiots as they did in Feegbusters. And this also goes back to the weekend in February 2020. Sonic was up against Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey lost to Sonic the Hedgehog. But from what I've been told from a friend of mine, he said Birds of Prey was a guilty pleasure at the very least, but it did go in with an agenda that didn't really belong on the big screen, whereas Sonic just told a story. Not necessarily award-winning, but it told a touching message about family, friends, acceptance, and unity. And they did it where the female and male cast members are all treated fairly. That's what Marvel needs to do. Is don't crap on the guys just for the sake of, because that gets you nowhere. And as Madam President and Win have attested in the past, it makes women look bad when you do that. And and even Win said something similar to, and I'm just going to be repeating this very briefly, Raiden, because I know how you feel about this. The way that Jada Pinkett gave women a bad name for her behavior during the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock slap incident. Granted, that's a separate incident, but it's equal in the fact that what she did kind of made women look bad. And the way Carol Danvers and just a few certain members of the MCU, there are a lot of women that will speak up online saying, sorry, you do not speak for us. We do not act this way. But, it is what it is. Madam President, first of all, we'll go to you. Your thoughts on the fact that The Marvels is the lowest opening for an MCU movie ever, and would you say the way that the MCU represents women and the way they're written has got to change?
To a degree, I kind of want to agree with that. The Marvels not doing well at the box office is probably hindered by two things, and it has nothing to do with Marvel's writing, which it doesn't help, but we just literally ended the writer strike this week. And they haven't had a chance to promote the film, do anything like that. The best I've seen it online is ads for it, and that's about it. And I feel like it's been hindered. The actors haven't been able to do press for it because of the strike. And I feel like that didn't help. Also, I want to give it I'm going to give it a tiny bit of credit here because, again, I do like some of the actors in this movie. I'm not talking about Brie Larson because I'm talking about the actress who plays Ms. Marvel. I can't pronounce her last name, but Imani. That girl's got like she's the most adorable cinnamon roll, and I want to hug her. And she is perfect as Ms. Marvel. And I feel like she's been getting she deserves more flowers than she has already gotten, because she's in her first like big time action movie, and it's not doing well at the box office. Like, don't do my girl dirty like that. No. Just like, again, I feel like she carries this movie a little bit more because she's exuberant, she's bubbly, she's fun, and she has a bit more personality than the other 2/3 of the Marvels. Because I'm sorry, I don't have any issues with Monica Rambeau, but she's a little bland. And the less I say about Brie Larson, the better. But again, and you're also coming off some Marvel's latest bomb, Secret Invasion, because we don't have to watch that to get the context of what's happening in the Marvels, but that doesn't help. It really does not. Just I don't know, but again, I don't have any issues with the movie. I might give it a try to watch it just for like, because of like, just out of curiosity, but if it's doing that bad in the box office, it's gonna go straight to streaming real freaking soon, and that makes me feel bad. When it comes to writing, though, I will say this: yeah, you gotta handle writing women if properly, and not make them all these like feminist and all like that. Free like power when empower girl power and all that. Like, we get that. Can we move on from that and start treating each other like equals? And not treating each other like, hey girly, I'm gonna smack you, and then she smacks the dude. It's like, smack yourself. It's like, I feel like I've been guilty of that in my own writing, but I've tried to like improve myself on that. But still, like, when I do it as a hobby for free, you people are getting paid for it. Earn that freaking strike money that you're getting. Earn it. Try to actually do better. Do better. That's all I ask. And like, again, I feel like there should be more women in the writers' room, but they're like women that write the same way that they wrote She-Hulk. Yeah, no. How about we learn to write without having to frickin' push an agenda, shall we? You can actually write a story without pushing an agenda. It's a possibility that you can do that. But all in all, I will say that just all I can say is do better. That's all I can say.
I mean, the writers that wrote the first Wonder Woman movie is vastly better than what I've been hearing, what they've been doing with female-led superhero projects.
Yeah.
84 sucked.
I did hear.
Yeah, I did. It was freaking confusing and it made no sense.
Brayden, thoughts?
Mulligan, I have no plans watching a B movie actress like Brie Larson. Monica Rambeau's cool. Malacon's cool. I'm just here for the Echo Show. Blade coming out a few years later.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it for the MCU, because do better. That's all like Liz said, just do better. That's all I gotta say.
Sir Stephen?
Right.
Uh-oh.
Where do I begin?
Uh-oh.
This is just a mere sign of how bad Disney has gotten, especially in this year. Because from what I understand, Disney is in a lot of hot water. What with the South Park Pandaverse special calling them out on a whole lot of things that have been going behind the scenes, especially with pushing agendas. They have been losing a lot of money and subscribers. And what's their response? Of course, they blame the men. Not exactly helping your case when you're trying to promote a movie which is supposed to appeal to that particular demographic, because let's be honest, who are Marvel Comics usually aimed for? Usually think of Marvel Comics.
Usually the men, but women read comics too, but still. I see what your point is.
And following on from Endgame, the performance, the writing, and just the overall flow of movies in the MCU has been going down and down and down. The forced gender messages, the killing of legacy characters just for the sake of it,
Luke.
and just cheap attempts of humor. And now they're immediately backpedaling, trying to figure out what to do with the finale of with the Secret Wars Avengers movie that they announced. I think it was the end of last year. They just scrambled.
Sorry,
just
I don't mean to
scrambling to-
interrupt. Sorry.
Sorry,
I don't mean to
go
interrupt,
ahead.
but yeah, they're scrambling because someone was a very bad boy when it comes to things. Just maybe you shouldn't put all your eggs into this guy before looking into what he was doing. How about that? Continue,
Yeah.
Steve. I'm sorry.
Mm.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Not only that, but apparently they're wanting Scarlett Johansson and Robert Downey Jr. to return as their roles as Iron Man and Black Widow.
When it comes to
Scarlett-
Scarlett Johansson, no. Sorry.
After the treatment that she got with Black Widow when it was released,
Mhm.
she made it very clear that she wanted nothing to do with Disney. And Robert Downey Jr. is not getting any younger.
No.
At this point, this is a clear sign that people are not buying into what Disney are doing anymore. And it's showing. And and apparently, from what I've heard from behind the scenes, Kathleen Kennedy had a lot of influence in some of the more recent MCU projects.
Of course she did.
Maybe not but fully in control, but there was a lot of hints behind the scenes of suggesting what they could do, blah, blah, yada, yada. I don't know.
Oy vey.
And I'm just going to finish by doing this little quote from the Joker when he says, "It would be funny if it weren't so pathetic." Oh, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
You do that way too well. Ew, darlings, maybe I should get in the fun.
Oh.
Hey, Liz, what if I become the Joker?
God help us all.
Hey, Raiden, do you want to know how I got these scars? No, I'm going to tell you how you got this black eye in a minute, bruh. Somewhere he's looking, I was like, me with Joker makeup. Honey, you put that makeup down. Okay, good
No.
boy.
No.
I do like the idea of green hair, though. Not out. Okay. I think we'll move on from that. This is not part of the lineup I had, but this just showed up in the feed. I've just seen the new art for Garfield.
Oh no!
Why?
Why?
I saw this on Twitter. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I hate Mondays.
Don't we all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to be nice for a minute. I think it's good that they're going with the animated movie route. Again, because, all right, the first movie, they proved they could do an okay live-action Garfield movie. Not over the top convincing, and also you could tell Bill Murray was not 100% into it. That was fine. Second movie, then it went into the subsequent CG animated movies, which... okay.
It was I.
And then there was the Garfield show, and I love Frank Welker. But and I could tell he was trying. But the biggest problem is Lorenzo Music left such a tough act to follow because he was Garfield. In the same vein, Frank Welker is, particularly if we're going with G1 or classic Megatron, he's the base template for Megatron. If we're talking Beast Wars, David K all the way, absolutely, David K all the way. And if we talk Spidey, you're probably talking about two names that constantly come up into the discussion: 90s, Christopher Daniel Barnes, and Josh Keaton. They're the ones that.
Shaka!
Oh no! No!
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
I don't have anything against the guy that voiced him in Marvel's Spider-Man that was on what's that Disney animated channel, something like
Disney XD.
Yeah.
He was okay. And weird thing, Steve, I actually saw Thunderbirds Are Ghost showing up on that, which I'm like, okay, that's
Wait, what?
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, apparently Thunderbirds Are Ghost showed up on Disney XD, and I'm like, okay, that's random. I don't know if that's 100% legitimate, but it looks legitimate when I did see it. I'm like, okay, that's different. But then again, Doctor Who's been showing up on Disney Plus, which has my eyebrow raising. I'm like, okay, that's
I think that was to do with a deal that BBC did with Disney to show the rights of it in America via Disney Plus.
and they couldn't do that via
Robbie Damon.
and they couldn't do that via BBC America.
Yeah, money talks.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie Damon. That was the guy. That was the guy that voiced Spider-Man in that show.
All
And
right.
funny enough, Najee Jeter was voiced Miles Morales in the show.
Nice.
Her voice for Miles Morales in the Insomniac Spider-Man series.
Nice.
So, like I say, I'm looking at the digital poster that, for all intents and purposes, on Twitter. It's faithful to the original funny 3-strip comics, or or when Garfield had his own comic. So it's a little bit more exaggerated, but you can tell that they're doing their own thing with it. The thing that has me concerned, and I've got time for Chris Pratt as an actor and as a voice actor, but can he do Garfield? Because Garfield's not a voice you pull off easily. It's got to have that very dry,
Sarcastic.
and I wouldn't say snarky, but it's that very dry, sarcastic, and unenthusiastic wit about him that Lorenzo always delivered perfectly. Chris can do humor, but I don't know. I mean, as Wynn says, the proof in the pudding is in the eating. But I don't know. I have my suspicions on this one. I'm just going to read the quick, small little excerpt. Catterday may be over, but that doesn't mean the feline fun has to stop. Chris Pratt will soon be voicing Garfield, the iconic cartoon cat known for loving lasagna and hating Mondays. Pratt is no stranger to animation, having voiced Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I heard did very good in that, which is the second
It's pretty decent.
which was the second highest box office earner of the year so far. Pratt also lent his voice to Pixar's Onward, the Lego Movie. Now, the Lego Movie, he's essentially being himself, but it works. And more, in 2021, it was announced that Pratt would be voicing Garfield. Today, the official account for Garfield shared a look at a poster for the film and teased the first trailer is coming tomorrow. Finally, a reason to hit snooze on the Monday alarm. Yeah, but that wouldn't imply to hit snooze and not get up to watch the trailer. That's kind of a contradiction there. The post reads that shared a little clip featuring a poster teases the movie trailer release. You can check it out below. Finally a reason to not hit the snooze alarm. Sorry, I misread. Who stars in Garfield? Chris Pratt will voice the titular cat and will also be joined by some big names. Garfield also stars Samuel L. Jackson?
What?
What?
Okay. Nicholas Hoult. Very good casting. Hannah Waddingham. Don't know her. Cecily Strong. Ving Rhames. Wow.
Okay.
Brett Goldstein and Bowen Yang. The film will also serve as a reunion for both Ted Lasso and Saturday Night Live. Goldstein has starred alongside Waddingham for all 3 seasons of Ted Lasso, and each taking home Emmys for their roles on the Apple TV Plus series. Meanwhile, Yang and Strong have worked together for multiple seasons of Saturday Night Live. Garfield is being directed by Mark Dindal, who helmed The Emperor's New Groove and Chicken Little for Disney. Okay, it's got a decent track record. The screenplay was written by Paul A. Kaplan, David Reynolds, and Mark Torgrove. I get a little bit concerned when there's more than 2 writers. Sometimes it works. There's other times, if you've got, say, like on one of the scary movies, there were 7 writers. Like, that's too many. Keep it smaller. That way you're not having, like, too many cooks. The film is based on the iconic strip by Jim Davis, which first debuted in 1978. There were previously 2 Garfield films featuring Bill Murray, which were released in 2004 and 2006. The former being much better. Chris Pratt said he almost gave up on Marvel. That's interesting. Okay. A little bit surprised by some of the cast list, but it goes back to that old meme that used to go around, like Samuel L. Jackson was in everything. And at one stage he actually was, which Family Guy actually made a joke about that, where he's setting up a scene take on this adult film set. It goes, okay, Samuel, this is the part where you do this. I'm not repeating half the stuff that was said on that, because it's like, no. But there was that point, with things like Pulp Fiction, Jurassic Park, and then him showing up in the Star Wars prequels. And I have to say, the Star Wars prequels really did show me something about Sam. I mean, not only just how much of an amazing actor he was, but I think it was actually one of the very few movies where he did not utter one single curse word.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, Samuel is a proficient master because he makes it look like poetry, particularly what we saw with 2005's The Man with Eugene Levy, and the things he did to the future MCU's Falcon by essentially using the hydraulics on his Cadillac to cheese grate the Falcon up against the Fez. Like, oh, that was mean. And of course, some of the other jokes in there that I'm not repeating live. Raiden knows what I mean.
Yes.
So him being in that, it'll be interesting. Nicholas Hoult, given how he's gone from things like X-Men, being on the movie The Road, and most recently Renfield, which I heard he was very good in. Be interesting to see what he does. All I'm asking with this movie, actually, let me just check who is actually directing Garfield this time. Well, not directing, who is actually making the movie. Let's see, media, television, right. And Garfield the movie, it's being done by Sony. This could be good, because I think, what were the last 2 movies made by? Yeah, the last one was made by 20th Century Fox, so given what Sony have been doing with the Spider-Verse, and it's presumably what they're going to be doing with this they're supposed to be making an animated Ghostbusters movie as well. So I don't know. It could be good. I'll have to see a trailer before I make any kind of decision, because given how money's very tight these days, whether you're well
Yeah.
off or you're having more of a shoestring budget than usual, you have to spend your money objectively. If the trailer looks decent, I might just consider getting a ticket for this one. If not, I'll wait till it comes out on Blu-ray. Steve, thoughts on the art, thoughts on the cast, and probably asking a shot in the dark with this. Are you likely to go watch this, or like me, are you skeptical?
I'm being very honest here when I say I'm gonna need to see more before I make a full judgment. Chris Pratt has been in multiple films lately, and I think I might just be getting sick of hearing his voice. I mean, I didn't see Guardians 3. I saw Mario, but that was because I think I'm just trying to branch out from just main superhero movies at the moment. And I know working in a cinema, you're able to see many different films depending on what we've got showing, but it's just having the get up and go to actually watch it. And I know for others, it might not be so easy. Considering current economy and everything else, it's going to be tough going forward. Looks interesting, but I need to see more.
All right. Madam President, interested or gonna make a pass on this one?
I'm of two feelings about that. I need to I saw the art. I need to see it moving. I need to see it animated before I can make a final judgment on that. When it comes to Chris Pratt, again, I kind of was one of the people that said, "Ah, come on, Chris Pratt, really? He's everywhere." But he surprised me with the Mario, so it's possible. But again, I gotta listen to the voice before I can make a final judgment. That's kind of how the same way I was with Mario. I need to hear the voice. I need to hear if he can separate himself from the character. So I need to hear that first before again I can make a final judgment on that. But as it comes to that, to seeing it in theaters, I might give it a pass and just wait for either to come out on streaming or see clips of it online. I'm not really gonna take time to go out of my way to see it in the theaters. Sorry.
Fair enough. To our own cool cat, Raiden, your thoughts?
I'm with Lids. I need to see a trailer. I mean, I'm not really gonna see it in theaters. I mean, I do like Garfield, but not to the extent. So, hope it does well. But I'll check it out when I feel like it.
It's like I say. I'll have to see something of substance from the trailer. Because I learned the hard way a long time ago. Don't judge what you don't see. But the last iteration of Garfield on the big screen didn't exactly set the word. Given current events, is probably not the best choice of words. Didn't exactly get the
resonate.
World, didn't exactly resonate throughout the world. Yeah, that's very good, Steve. Didn't get it talking to the way they would want. And again, it's just personal bias here, but the thing that would need to have made the previous series work if you'd found somebody that was a good sound-alike to Lorenzo, or at least embody the same enthusiasm or the same delivery that he could do, where even though music would make Garfield sound like he's uninterested. That's the whole point of the character. It's like he's a cat that's kind of been there, seen that, and done that. And I felt like with Murray, again, it's the material he was fed, and of course, 2000s Murray, dependent on the project he was working on, he would sound like he was phoning it in. And you know what the irony is? All these years later, and this is something that people pointed out during the Garfield movie, you have Lorenzo Music voicing Peter Venkman in the first 2 seasons of the real Ghostbusters. Bill Murray finds out and here's this, like, why does my character sound like he's being voiced by Garfield? And then fast forward at least 16, 18 years later, when he hears about this, he's voicing a character that his previous voice actor criticized that was originally a Ghostbuster. It's like the irony of all those years later. And
somewhere in the hereafter, Lorenzo Music's like, why does Garfield sound like Peter Venkman?
exactly. And that's the sad part. Bill Murray is a fantastic actor. He does the dry-witted stuff as Peter Venkman flawlessly, although there's a lot of stuff that we know now from, looking back at the first Ghostbusters with fresh eyes, like, oh, that would not fly today. When I saw that when I was like at respective times, like when I was 8 to 10, and then when I got the first movie on DVD, like most people did, it didn't really click with me until somebody pointed out in a review, look at the shady stuff that Venkman's doing, and I'm like, oh, that's messed up. I mean, when you're a kid or mid-teen, you hear him like, oh, nothing happened in that room, what a crime. Whereas years later, it's like, ooh, Venk, no. And to be fair to him, in Afterlife, compared to how he was in the first movie, yeah, he's still acting like an ass, but it's tame in comparison to the first movie. Although to the point where he was saying that him and Gozer could be the perfect power couple, and this is like, oh, like, Peter, shut up.
Ew.
But yeah, I don't know. Proof in pudding, wait and see, long tangent, done. I think this will probably be the last item of the evening, only because we're getting close to 8 p.m. and I'd like to actually finish on time, even though we did start late, but, And this one, apparently, we're having a do-over. Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 teases epic multiverse saga in first look.
Okay.
While the movie's release date seemingly set for January, the cover art for DC's Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earth Part 1 reveals some of the characters to expect in the animated adaptation of the multiverse story. Warner Brothers Discovery and DC first announced it would adapt the Crisis on Infinite Earths at the San Diego Comic-Con during the panel for the R-rated Justice League War World. It also announced an R-rated animated Watchmen movie. So we're basically going to get the Zack Snyder movie, but with cell animation instead of live action. Cover art that's appeared online shows a cast of characters from across the DC multiverse, including heroes like Batman, The Flash, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, and Green Lantern. And there are also Crime Syndicate characters like Ultraman and Superwoman. Vixen's inclusion is of interest, as it may be the same version of her character from her animated movie tied to the Arrowverse. DC's Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earth voice remains to be announced. James Gunn, head of the DC Studios, has hinted at more interconnectivity between DC's live-action and animated projects in the future. That has some fans wondering if Crisis on Infinite Earths and Watchmen will mark the end of DC's long-running line of animated movies, when they've already just had a reboot. Crisis on Infinite Earths was a comic book crossover established in DC in '85. It is considered by many to be the template for all such major crossover events to follow. Marv Wolfman wrote the 12-part series with the late, great George Perez providing the artwork. Crisis on Infinite Earths was timed to coincide with the celebration of DC's 50th anniversary and simultaneously streamlined the convoluted continuity the company had created over the past 5 decades. Wolfman hoped to do away with DC's multiverse and replace it with a single timeline friendlier to new readers. Oh, how naive. Crisis on Infinite Earth's story revolves around the threat of the Anti-Monitor, a villain from the Antimatter universe existing opposite the DC universe. The Anti-Monitor wanted to destroy all realities in DC's multiverse. The Monitor, whom Wolfman and Perez introduced in their run on New Teen Titans, is revealed to be the Anti-Monitor's positive matter universe counterpart. That's a damn mouthful. He gathers heroes and villains from all realities to stand against the Anti-Monitor. Several DC heroes die, including The Flash, Barry Allen, and Supergirl, while others vanish as if they never existed. The Anti-Monitor is partially successful destroying the multiverse, but a new universe replaces those lost, integrating some refugee characters from their perished timelines. DC has published various sequels to Crisis on Infinite Earths in the years since the original, to the point that DC Universe characters now refer to them as in-universe as Crisis events. Those stories include 2005's Infinite Crisis, 2008's Final Crisis, and 2022's Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. DC's Arrowverse shows created their version of Crisis on Infinite Earths with the multi-episode show Crisis on Infinite Earths appearing in 2019, spanning Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and Batwoman episodes. Raiden's favorite show. Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths releases in 2024. DC's newest animated movie, Justice League War World, premiered at Comic-Con and is now available on digital, 4K, Ultra HD, and Blu-ray. Personally, and this is just me saying this as it is, considering they already did the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline, I think, put me on the spot here with this, because I think that was out, let's see, Justice League, that was Crisis on Two Earths, and that was also, that story was originally written for Justice League, the animated series, by the late Dwayne McDuffie, because the idea was they wanted it to, you know, be able to put that within the series, but they said, could you retool it for a movie? And that was the last story he ever worked on before he sadly passed away, which, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if, let's see, where does it actually say? Yeah, says here on Wikipedia, he passed away due to complications of heart surgery. Yeah. Hey, is what it is. Sometimes it happens. But, because that was 13 years ago, so, well, it's not uncommon to see something redone. I mean, they redid the death of Superman with the previous generation of Justice League, but involving Bats, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern, and then having him brought back with the reign of the Superman, which, if you know your comic book lore and history, that was the original title for the way Superman was originally going to be brought in, but as a heel. But it was only when Joel Shuster and Jerry Siegel said, what if you could retool the character to be a force for good, and, you know, like, have him strong, be able to fly, and just be this noble character. So Reign of the Superman was somebody who had these great telepathic powers that would essentially manipulate people. Something that Lex Luthor would like to have, but Luthor with that kind of power, no, no, no. The art looks intriguing, and from James Gunn saying, "Oh, this could be the end of this particular run," is like, great. We just had, like I say, just had a reboot, so I don't know. Steve, do you think, like me, it's a little too early to do this particular story again? And if it is what Gunn is hinting to, do you think it's too soon to do this, to do a reboot, or to, as they say, end this run of animated movies? Because it takes a while to get some of these going.
Yeah, although when you mention the word animated movie, that just rings alarm bells, considering what Warner Brothers has ended up doing over the past week, and to a lesser extent, even to DC films, like with, remember Batgirl? That was promised and then was written off as a tax write-off?
Yes.
Well, the same thing has happened again with another Warner Brothers project, Coyote versus Acme. And
this
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Raiden.
David Zaslav, like Vince, you ain't seeing heaven.
And considering that this movie was just announced and it's supposed to be coming out next year. Was it January they said it was slated for, or was it
January?
Some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just a bit concerned that whether if we'll get a part 2 to this story or not.
Yeah.
Because Warner Brothers is not treating animation with the same gravitas as other studios.
And yet they're greenlighting Bruce Timm's Batman: The Caped Crusader, where he has more creative control, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh.
Here we go again.
Raiden, thoughts?
I mean, I always look forward to any any freaking like DC animated feature,
Especially
This
the
looks
Batman
cool.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course. I've seen like half of this current universe. It's been pretty good. I do hope it's not the end of this universe, because it just started with these couple movies. So I hope that continues. And for me, I have faith in James Gunn. I feel like he will bring it back, because he already has some favorites that I really like. Of course, the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker season 1. Can't wait for season 2. So I hope it's separate half the time, with a little bit of connection. That's all I want. So but yeah, as always, I'm looking forward to it. Always looking forward to the DC animated movies.
And to our own Wonder Woman, Madam President, your thoughts?
Curious to check this out. See what they do with it, with who they cast as these different incarnations of that, because you can go well, or you can end up with not a very good individual voicing a certain iconic character. Sadly, we do not get Kevin Conroy as Batman anymore. Rest in peace. But again, I'm a little intrigued by that. Just let James Gunn do what he does. Otherwise, Davey Boy might cancel it, like he cancels every other animated project, or sells it off for tax write-off. Yes, I'm going to say that, because go fuck yourself, Davey Boy. And there's Oni Rokaku's cameo.
Hi, Oni.
So,
Anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued by this. Just, honey, you're busy right now. Pete's sake, what do you want me to do? Sorry, guys.
It's fine.
It's okay.
good.
Doors open. Yeah, you can have the floor.
One of my favorite Looney Tunes characters, besides Bugs Bunny, of course, is Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote.
Uh-huh.
Them just showing off what they were going to do in those cartoons made it great.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually looking forward to Coyote versus Acme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hadn't heard too much news about it, but I was looking forward to it because, again, I'm a Looney Tunes fan. Duh.
We're technically
And
not
it
talking
featured
about
John
that, but you
Cena.
I'm a duh.
fair. Continue.
So when I found out David Hasselhoff canceled that like he canceled Batgirl, hashtag Michael Keaton's my Batman.
Justice for Batgirl.
Yes.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah, he got a little angry. I'm speaking in hyperbole, dear.
Nice to know he's a Keaton fan.
That's not me. Cancel, which denies me another chance to see Keaton in that suit. Yet then, strike two was getting rid of Coyote versus Acme, which would have been probably a good starting point to a reboot of the Looney Tunes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Strike three. You're gonna sell DC? Oh, please sell DC. See what happens. God knows Superman needs to be less OP than he already is.
Oh.
You know that's not going to happen.
Victim
Mm.
circumstance this time. Why did you want to work with them?
Are you done now? Okay, he's done now. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Sony.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. All
It's fine.
right, but yeah, I'll wait and see for this. Just, yeah, we'll see what happens.
And apparently the Coyote versus Acme movie was supposed to star John Cena as well. It was supposed to be like
Whoa,
an
not
adventure.
fair.
Mm. All right. I think we'll call time here, and should have read out a comment earlier from Sean Retro. Stop trying to use the Panda store, Disney. Very good. Very easy.
Panda Stone. Something from the South Park movie. South Park special. Oh, and we might be getting another South Park movie because of that. Because of the whole thing going on.
Yay.
Nice.
Yay.
I'll be in the theaters.
I'll dare them to top the Uncle song. I dare you.
Oh no.
Yes, yes.
I will die in that theater.
And on that note, folks, we're going to call it a day. And one of my favorite streamers is streaming at the moment on Twitch. Blondaise is playing Fortnite. This girl is the sweetest cinnamon roll you will ever hear. She has a little bit of a New York Moxie sounding accent to her, but it's the way she, it's the way she does it with her voice. It's just adorable. All right. Would help if I could spell properly. Happens. So, before we go ahead with our outro and I go to hit the raid, thank you to my co-host this evening. We are back now at the regular time of 6 p.m. UK on a Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, do not forget to check out Kitsune Rakaku on her Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Kitsune Rakaku. And also, do not forget to my new slightly more appreciation for Oni Rikaku being a Michael Keaton appreciator. Awesome. Oni, you are being promoted to king.
Yay!
Twitch.tv/Oni Rikaku. Send him at least 50 bits and 2 subscriptions, and tell him that Smiling Keaton Batman fan sent him your way.
Well, for my streams, I'm $5 away from a payout, so wink, wink, nudge, nudge. A little bit of cash would help.
And
Next time I stream, fingers crossed.
Don't tempt me.
and there's Stephen going, $5, you say? Puts in bit. Stephen, what the hell? You sent me $50.
Oops. No.
All right. Well, until next week, this is MJ Knight saying good night from the night.
You guys next
Bye,
time.
everybody.
See y'all.
Let's go raid Blondays.
That's all she wrote.
Let it get set up. One viewer is ready to raid. I'm presuming that's Sean. All right.
God!